So I want to start by wishing everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day. If you're like me, you woke up and you didn't even remember it was a holiday. Obviously, a lot of things are different this year, and any plans I had have been canceled, I can tell you that. I did decide to wear green in honor of the day, and I'm drinking Irish cream coffee, so that's my way of dealing with it, I guess. The reason I'm making this video is I reached peak coronavirus fear last night, and a lot of it is because in Ohio, especially, every single day there's something happening that is restricting me so I can't do something I enjoy. And of course, there's the whole fear of catching it and dying from it and relatives getting sick with it. So schools are closed, restaurants and bars are closed. I'm seeing family and friends losing work, being laid off as part of a leadership team at a nonprofit. We have had to make very hard decisions in terms of staffing just to keep the doors open. Literally every day is a new wave of negativity and uncertainty. And then last night in Ohio, they closed gyms. So pretty much like the very things that I do to stay sane, like going out and hanging with friends and going to the gym, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So last night was the peak fear. And I was sitting down with someone I'm very close to, and we were discussing this and just being honest how afraid we are. And you know what? I could deny it all I wanted, but I'm afraid. I admit that. I'm anxious. A lot of my free moments are spent thinking about going down that path of anxiety, like what if? And I'm what ifing myself to the point of either being dead or being broken homeless, you know? And I'm sure many of my friends and family are thinking the same thing. But it also hit me last night that I don't want to feel that way. And I don't have to feel that way. And it's hard not to feel that way. But a lot of us have entered into survival mode. And survival mode is when you are just trying to get by. So you're just doing the minimum. You're just giving the minimum, doing the minimum, trying to keep the ship afloat rather than making the ship a better boat. Now, it sounds like it's a good idea. This is a pretty big crisis right now. It sounds like a good idea to just survive. But the problem is, good things don't happen when we're all in survival mode. What you get is toilet paper hoarders. So I decided it's time to start living in more of an abundant mode. Because every scenario I was going through in my head involved every gift that I have to give to the world, and we all have different gifts, but every gift I have to give to the world, I was not giving anymore under any scenario of the survival mode. And maybe you're feeling the same way. I mean, I quite rightly see a lot of anger and fear and anxiety on social media. But when we're feeling that way and acting that way, we're not giving to the world of the very things that the world needs. Now, the coronavirus is a great excuse. I love making excuses why I can't do the things that I know I need to do. I love excuses. And I've had excuses over the years that have stopped me from doing things. But the coronavirus is the best excuse I've ever had because it's probably the most legitimate excuse. But then I started thinking, when is the best time to do the right thing? When's the best time to be loving, be generous, be grateful, be courageous, to take action on those things? Well, the best time is all the time. And probably the next best time is in times when people absolutely need the gifts that you and I offer to the world. To restrict those gifts and to hoard those gifts at a time when people need them the most is not a very good strategy. So even with this business, with this Facebook page and some of the websites and services that we offer, my first response was, I cannot do this right now. I mean, we're rebranding, as some of you have noticed. We've shifted away from the Popular Man brand. And my first thought was, well, now is not the time to offer what we have to the world. And then I had to rethink and think, no. Now is the exact right time to offer what we have to the world. And the same is true for you. If you have things like your talents, your generosity, love, joy, gratitude, friendship, whatever you have to offer to the world, now's the time to offer it. And it's time to offer it in a way that is not expecting anything in return, because that's the way things are right now. You may not get paid back for it. Because, for one, people may not have the ability to pay you back, whether emotionally, socially, or monetarily. And second of all, they may be in such a survival mode that they refuse to pay you back in any of those capacities. But it hit me that I do have things to give to the world still. And I have things to give to my friends, to my family, and to anyone that needs what I have to offer. And the second thing I realized is that over the last year, I've literally been preparing for something just like this in my own unique way. Again, some people could offer other things, but what I can offer, I've been preparing for. So we haven't really discussed this much, but part of the rebranding is because our focus has shifted from basic social skills and popularity techniques and dating relationships to deeper things like overcoming fear, embracing obstacles, living an authentic and honest life. And I'll give props to the late Susan Jeffers and her book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, her book, Embracing Uncertainty, and Ryan Holiday, who authored the book, The Obstacle is the Way, and other books on Stoicism. So literally over the last year, I've been trying to realign my life in a way that is more open to uncertainty, is more open to embracing obstacles, and is about understanding that there will always be fear and acknowledging that, and then working through that fear to do what I know is right, and that helps myself and helps others. So I've literally been in practice mode for this crisis for a year. So quite frankly, I realized last night, now is the time to act. It's game time. Now is not the time to hoard the things that I offer to the world. And I would challenge you not to hoard the things that you offer to the world either. The world will be a much better place, whether it's now during this crisis or once this crisis passes, if you bring the best to the world. And instead of being in a survival mode where you're just trying to get by and hoarding your resources, you try to be in an abundant mode where you share of yourself generously, and then others will in turn share with you, even if they're not capable of doing that right now. So it's not always easy. I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect at it, but do the right thing that you know to do right now. And I'm trying to do that as well. Stay healthy and stay safe.